Gokaruna-Nidhi, Part-2, Translator's Note. Swami Dayanand was one of the most modern men of all times, but he thought in the most ancient language, Sanskrit, and wrote a large body of his work in Hindi. He called it Arya Bhasha. Naturally, the original idiom of his Hindi is Sanskrit, and therefore the analytical structure of Hindi in his case is conditioned by the inflectional character of Sanskrit. Consequently, the translation of his language into English is a challenging task. The challenge could be faced in one of the two ways I thought of. First, take the essential thought and let it assume its natural expression into English. Second, take the language and render it into a corresponding structure of English. Either way, exclusively, the task presented a new challenge. Swamiji is one of those great thinkers and writers whose vision and sincerity sanctifies their expression into inviolable performance. Hence, one must capture the originality and the sanctity not only of the thought but also of the language. Secondly, if one sticks to the language of translation would suffer a loss of the original flavor of thought on the one hand, and the vitality of the English language on the other. Therefore, the translator has had to struggle with the job trying to reach the original through the Hindi of the text and carry that original through Hindi to give it a living form in English. The risk was entirely his because no language of translation can be as lively as that of an original composition. The difficulty was felt in an extreme degree in relation to the title. Literally, it would be Ocean of Mercy for the Cow, which does not sound like English even though it is excellent Sanskrit. So, with a bold but sincere spirit of compromise, I decided to translate it as In Defense of the Cow with all compassion. And lo, I found a justification too in Swamiji's own words, wherein he describes this work of his as Kamadhenupaha, that is, protector and promoter of the cow, symbol of human prosperity. Swamiji's vision of his subject, the title, explodes into the language of the work, and I have tried to collect and concentrate that exposition into the English title. We are far from the seers of the past. The essence of their work was vision. They captured the vision into Sanskrit. Swamiji then rendered that Sanskrit message of thought into Hindi, and were trying to reconstruct this his exposition into English. In short, we are 4 steps distant from the reality. The reader, therefore, has to exercise his imagination and ingenuity to reach at what Swamiji has tried to communicate. A translation is no substitute for the original. Nevertheless, if it does not define the destination, it is at least a pointer to it. And if this translation points to the original for the reader, I shall deem myself amply rewarded. Khajan Singh. To be continued.